Yo, what is up guys? Fer here, and today I'm gonna be talking about the monster trio, their growth and strength, and what I expect from them in Wano, because it's very clear at this point that this is going to be one of the biggest boosts in power for not just the monster trio, but for the entire Straw Hat. And this is due to the fact that we're going up against not only the Shogun of Wano, but the beast pirates that are allied with him. And that includes Kaido, who is said to be the strongest thing alive in the world of One Piece. Obviously, we're gonna have allies that are gonna help the Straw Hats, but the highlight will be the Straw Hats for the most part. And so we're going to see visible growth in this arc, which is something that we don't see that often, because when it comes to the growth of the Straw Hats, it's usually not visible from what has been shown in the series. Apart from the 2-year time skip and the recent fight with Katakuri, there hasn't been anything that's been really visible, if that makes any sense. Now correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was mentioned somewhere that the Straw Hats grow every arc, so I guess that can be used as justification. But for example, we take a look at Doflamingo and Luffy. Now Luffy won that fight, but we didn't know how much Luffy grew from that fight, so it was up to us as viewers to figure out how much he had grown, which led to a lot of speculation of people either downplaying Luffy or overestimating him. But in the case of Luffy versus Katakuri, we know exactly what Luffy got from that fight. We know that he obtained a new form of observation, something visible that shows that Luffy is growing, and we also know that he got it, which was explained to be the result of extreme conditions of battle. And so I think Oda implemented that idea in transition from Whole Cake to Wano to show growth in this arc, something visible for the fans to notice that these guys are actually growing. So the Rayleigh flashback about how Haki blooms in extreme conditions of battle is going to be very big for us in Wano to notice growth, because Wano is going to be the biggest battle for the Straw Hats yet. We're going to be dealing with the beast pirates, battles without a doubt that are going to be extremely difficult, and something that would put the Straw Hats on the very limits of their ability, and so they have to surpass these limits to overcome who they're fighting. And obviously I'm going to be talking about the monster trio, because these three are going to be the ones that will show the most growth and power. Now I'm not saying that the other Straw Hats wouldn't show growth, but it's not going to be as big as the monster trio. Now apart from the monster trio, I feel like Usopp is going to show the biggest growth right under the monster trio. Again, during Dressrosa, Usopp awakened observation, and I think we're going to see more moments like that where we're going to see growth from him in terms of observation, which is very handy for him being the sniper that he is, and ornaments to make his attack stronger. So these are two things I think Usopp is definitely going to improve on in Wano, but this is going to be for a separate video where I talk about Usopp in full effect. And I feel like this is going to be very similar to Enies Lobby, where they develop entirely separate abilities from what they currently have, and one that would make them go to that next level. Because when we take a look at pre-time skip, there wasn't a noticeable gap in growth till Enies Lobby. If there was, it was probably decent or very small. Then we have Sanji's Diablo Jambe, Zoro's Ashura, Luffy's Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd, and that was the biggest growth pre-time skip. And so Wano is probably going to be one of the biggest post-time skip, and this is why this is going to be so big for the monster trio, especially Sanji and Zoro, because we haven't seen their full power yet. And because we haven't seen their full power, and the fact that they're going to grow even further is going to make them look a lot stronger and a lot more impressive to us as readers. Now with Luffy, I think we know his limits, and I think for the most part he's shown everything that he's capable of. Now I'm of the mindset that he learned something from Katakuri because of how similar their endeavor fruits were. So taking that into account and his new observation, he might have something new to show us currently. For example, we know Katakuri has the ability that he uses with his observation in conjunction with his Logia-like power to dodge ornament Haki attacks. I could see Luffy doing something similar, whereas he uses future instincts that he has right now with a form or a use of Kamiye, which is a CP9 skill set that allows your body to become paper-like. And since we know Luffy has been incorporating Rokushiki into his arsenal, we've seen Soru, we've seen Geppo with Gear 4, it's safe to assume that he could show other skill set of the Rokushiki that he learned from CP9. So Kamiye in combination with his future instincts would be Luffy's version of what Katakuri does with his fruit, which would enable Luffy to avoid Haki attacks like Katakuri. Again, I was of the mindset that Luffy's fight against Katakuri was sort of a training session, and so it would be cool if Luffy showed something that he learned from Katakuri. That would be great to see. Again, time and time again, Katakuri was essentially telling Luffy how to use his endeavor fruit more efficiently. It'd be crazy if Luffy didn't learn anything from him, but yeah. And talking about Luffy's observation, this is good for Wano because we're going to be fighting the beast pirates, who I think are the strongest when it comes to physicality, and so taking an attack head on from these guys isn't exactly the best idea. And so I think Luffy's observation is going to play a huge role in this, or in major fights in this arc. Sometimes it's better to avoid an attack than take them head on. Now what a lot of people tend to forget is Tankman, one of Luffy's 3 forms he has in Gear 4. Now we saw Tankman Tankman during Whole Cake during Luffy's fight against Cracker. Now the version we saw was the full version of Tankman, which was due to the fact that Luffy ate a lot of Cracker's biscuits, which made him fat in return, and that ultimately changed the normal appearance of Tankman. But what we also know is that based on the title is that Tankman is a form that is made to take on a lot of attacks and can also dish out slow but heavy attacks. We also know that it's a form that is a lot different in terms of where Luffy's haki patterns are, so maybe this uses a different type of fighting style, and it seems like absorbing and deflecting attacks could be one of its main forms of attack. Now just like how Luffy learned advanced observation from Katakuri, I think during his fight against either Kaido or the Strongest Calamity, he's going to obtain a new form of ornament. I feel like each Yonko has a commander with at least one form of advanced haki, and so I think the King Calamity might be that individual to have this form of ornament, which is something that Luffy will learn from, because ornament is something that Luffy is very reliant on, because every form in Gear 4 needs ornament to be used in the first place. And so getting this next level would make his attack stronger, and maybe this could increase his time limit in Gear 4, because Gear 4 has a massive drawback that has the chance to change the tide of a fight. He ran away from Doflamingo, he ran away from Cracker, he ran away from Katakuri, and so hopefully this next level of ornament is something that he can use to extend his time in Gear 4. Now with Sanji, we haven't seen any new skill sets other than the fact that he can use Diablo Jambe on both of his legs, Skywalk, and the attack he did against Watatsumi during Fisherman Island. That's about it for Sanji, but we do know he probably has a lot of moves that he hasn't shown yet because he hasn't been given the chance to fight in a 1v1, which he should get in Wano. Now we know that Sanji specializes in observation, so I'm guessing he could obtain something very similar to Luffy, but since haki, from what has been explained, develops into a form that is akin to what sort of person you are, then Sanji's observation could be a lot different from Luffy's and Katakuri's. Maybe his observation could allow him to perceive time at a slower rate. That could be his own version. Now his raid suit is probably going to be one of the bigger upgrades we're going to see in this arc. He's going to be forced to wear it to get the power increase when he's pushed to the limits, and the raid suit comes with a lot of extra perks. They're fire resistance, bulletproof, and they can fly to some degree, and it also enhances whatever ability you have. So Diablo Jambe would be stronger, and when it comes to his raid suit, I also feel like his raid suit is going to be different from his brothers, because the whole thing about Sanji and his family is that he was different from them, and so it would make sense if his raid suit was different in terms of design anyways. And when it comes to Zorro, this is going to be huge for Zorro in terms of haki growth during Wano, and since Zorro specializes in ornament, I could see him getting the advanced version of ornament just like Luffy, or a variation of it, since they have different personalities, and that would tie into Zorro's fighting style so well, given the fact that he's a swordsman, and the whole thing behind swordsmen is that they have the ability to cut things up, and we have to remember that we are going to be dealing with different squads of Zoans, ancient, mythical, carnivorous, and Zoans are mostly known for their physicality. Ornament haki would be the perfect asset necessary to take these guys on, and for the most part Zorro is known for his heavy physical attacks, so technically everything fits perfectly for Zorro. And the fact that he's hyped up to fight against the Shogun is going to be his own version of Luffy versus Katakuri. He's going to show the most growth fighting the Shogun more so than any other individual in Wano. And when it comes to Zorro getting a new sword, now there's two plot points that are set in motion. The first one is Zorro saying that he wants a fire sword, and the second one is Zorro having Shisui, which is the national treasure of Wano, and he's already caught fire for that. These two things hint at Zorro potentially obtaining a new sword, or maybe losing one in Wano, because we know Zorro uses Santoru Ryu, which requires 3 swords, so him having 4 swords would be kind of pointless unless he wants extras or something, which I doubt. Now I'm going to interject Nami here for a second. Now Nami's power up is actually going to be so helpful in Wano because of how the beast pirates function. Now more than likely they rely mostly on physical attacks, and so what we know from Zeus is that he doesn't get damage from any attacks, even with haki. We know how destructive Zeus was during Whole Cake. In combination with Nami's climate attack, Nami is definitely going to have some major feats in Wano if she uses Zeus to his full potential. But in terms of growth, Wano is going to be so crazy for the Straw Hats, and we might see other characters like the Supernova grow as well. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Where do you guys see Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji during and after Wano Kingdom? Do you guys think they would have the ability to defeat an admiral afterwards? Comment down below what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more One Piece content on this channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified for future content. It is Pharaoh, guys, and I will see you folks later. Peace.